genuinely concerned for kids. I understand the concern in terms of protecting people from the disease, and I understand entirely how, look, if kids get it and then they give it to their parents, I understand. I'm not, this is not a judgment on whether or not they should have locked kids out of school. I'm not qualified to make that distinction, or decision rather, but it is a discussion of like what it's like to be a child. There's a gentleman that I met recently. He had a young daughter, and his daughter was maybe a year and a half old. He's holding her in his arms, and I go, hello, like I'm talking. He goes, she is uncomfortable meeting people because she didn't meet anybody for the first 8 months of her life. And I was like, whoa, that's crazy. I never thought of it that way.
That's crazy.
All that baby ever saw was its home, the people in the home. Like, everyone was afraid of the disease.
It's like a pod person.
Well, it's like a kid growing up in an unfair environment. Like, it's unfair for the little kid. Obviously, I get it. I understand the precautions had to be put in place. I understand why it happened. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, imagine being a baby. Like, they say there's a certain time period, like Gabor Mate was talking about this. He was talking about, addictions and trauma and the way your personality develops. And a lot of children's, he was on London Real, this podcast on YouTube, and he was saying that a lot of children, their personality really develops by the time they're 3 years old.
That's right.
So imagine if you're 2 years old and then for the next 8 months, all you're experiencing is people with masks on and everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid to go outside.
Because you know in MK Ultra, when they tortured thousands of children, so that's why they would wear masks for years with the children that would never see in the face. And so, Joe, you're being nice coming from the lawyer angle, saying you're a lawyer, I'm saying lawyers say, if we can save one person, we got to do X, Y, Z, but if it causes more cancer deaths, more heart attacks that aren't treated, if it causes more suicide, if it causes the birth rate to go down by half this year of what it used to be, and if it starves millions of deaths in the third world from the lockdown, not from COVID, but the lockdown hysteria, well, then we learn what the Great Reset is. This is really a depopulation hysteria weapon.
Well, I think for sure we have to recognize that in the beginning, everybody thought it was going to be way worse than it is, and there's no way anybody could have known.
They said 4% death rates.
But in the beginning, you're getting bad information from China, right? You're not getting the actual truth of the numbers or how they're doing it. I can remember watching a truck drive down a city street in China, and they were spraying disinfectant out the side of the truck.
Very apocalyptic.
Very apocalyptic.
Listening to Joe Rogan and Alex Jones podcast.
Are sitting at home looking at that going, oh my God.
What the
Going
fuck
from New Mexico to Utah.
Like, what the fuck is going to happen? And then as time went on and more people that we knew got it and recovered from it, and then the numbers came in, they realized, okay, this is not as bad as they thought it was going to be, but it's still bad for people that have issues, right? For people with comorbidities. And then it became, would we have done this lockdown had we known it was going to be what it was versus what it was when we initially thought it was going to be? We initially thought it was going to kill 10% of the population.
But now the population...
But understand that a lot of these conspiracies that people fabricate or put together, I should say, construct after the fact, is trying to figure out how we got to where we got, thinking that there was some grand plan. And this is my number one problem with conspiracy theories, is that they're looking at it after it's done.